Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Sorry it's been a little bit since I've done a video. I've been kind of busy with work and other things going on, so we're gonna kind of dive into a different little segment here, something that I've talked about doing on the channel. We're not just gonna stand here and stare at Sleepy Pepper. We're gonna start going through some stuff, and I'm gonna start showing you guys some of this stuff, some of the weathering that I've done, the detailing that I've done, kind of do a little talk about some of the modifications that I've done with some of this stuff. I think we're going to start with the UP stuff. I have a lot of UP stuff, and in a few months, I do have a surprise coming. Actually, two surprises, but I'm going to hold that until they come. So I'm basically just going to come over here and we'll just kind of pick at random. If you guys see something on here that you want to check out that I haven't gotten to within the series of videos yet, let me know. And we're just going to start simple. I was going to show you guys this rotary plow, but I have to have gloves on for that, and you'll see why later on. So we'll start with this. We'll start with the UP 3593, the Desert. What was it? Desert Victory unit. This is older. This isn't from their most modern release. This is actually the first, or not. Well, probably not the first release. I think they might have done it in like even before this, but this is the early RTR. As this came, it came with no DCC or sound. This has DCC and sound, and this kind of has a little special purpose, and I'll explain before we go any further. So I want to do, eventually have a nice big layout, a lot of stuff going on. Well, I want to do a railroad museum on this layout with steam locomotives, old diesels, and anything that you would find in a normal railroad museum. And I kind of want to have it to where I have equipment in the museum that will get pulled out, restored, and then running again. And so the reason I'm telling you guys this is because this plays a part in that, and some of the stuff you guys are going to see in this within my UP stuff, among some of my other stuff, you guys are going to see some of this kind of take life someday when I do have the layout and I have the railroad museum, because I really want it to kind of be somewhat of a real life ordeal where there's a locomotive in the museum, and they come along and they want to restore it so stuff's able to move around freely. So you guys are going to see some stuff that's been dummied, some really expensive stuff that's been dummied, and so be ready for that. So just a warning, I have dummied some very expensive locomotives, and you guys will see that coming up. This is not a dummy though. This I have pretty much made for one of my operable museum power. So this locomotive will be an operating locomotive in the museum, able to move locomotives around, move some of the freight cars I'm going to have in the museum around, and then in special occasions we'll do passenger runs with this, with my nice UP cars. You guys will see those too. I'm basically going to start with my UP stuff. We're just going to it's going to take me a long time. I'm not going to throw like 100 videos in one day at you guys with this stuff. So I mean, it's going to take me a while. All right, I don't want to fuck that up. So we'll slide that out. All right. So I'm sure some of you keen-eyed people can already tell there's a few differences. Something that's really going to stand out to you from how this originally comes is I have an air conditioner and a PTC antenna box on the cab for modern day running. Now, like I said, I do intend to run this on the main from time to time, and I wanted it to be basically a modern rendition. Union Pacific no longer owns this locomotive, sadly. I kind of wish they would have donated it to a museum in this paint scheme, but it was repainted back into their yellow and gray, and then eventually this locomotive left the roster. I cannot remember offhand where it's running right now. It's some other company runs it now. I can't remember if it went to HLCX or something else. I can't remember, guys. I'm sorry. I should have try to remember that. But sadly, this is no longer a locomotive on the UP roster. But in my world, my fantasy world, you guys are going to see a lot of fantasy here. This is a modern day running locomotive. We even have some of the new filter bits put on there, just like on the modern SD40-2s. We do have ditch lights. These are just lenses. They are not actual working ditch lights. I've done this before, which you guys will see some of my ditch light modifications, but it's a real pain in the ass, especially if the locomotive's not really set up for that, and this one really wasn't, so I just decided to opt for lenses for the lights on that. Now, with this being an RTR, of course, it came with the... Get my finger out of the thing there. It did come with the MU cables. I had to add the air hose, or the brake pipe hose. Of course, the ditch lights I added, and it did not come with a MU receptacle, so I put a MU box on there. Still has its original, what was that, like an S3L or something like that horn. Still has the firecracker antenna, of course, along with the PTC antenna cabinet. That's a resin that I painted. And then the air conditioner is just like a Details West part. Along with that, you guys can see I've sooted up the top just a little bit. You guys can kind of see like a nice wipe line of where they would wipe the locomotive down at the museum. But, of course, you know, they don't want to climb all the way on top and wipe it down. So when you're on the ground, it looks, well, I can't really get like ground level, but, you know, it looks pretty clean. But, you know, up top, she's a little dirty. She's a hard-working girl. Painted the exhaust a little darker. Didn't really get too crazy. I did want it to be somewhat clean, not just full-on filthy. I did paint the wheels, and I put a more modern speed recorder on it, and actually painted the speed recorder as a replacement part that would have not been paint matched. So that's pretty prototypical. Paint details on the tanks. We did the nice red bits on the filler and the sight glasses. Shiny, like a gloss red for the red parts, and then the silver on the gauge on the tank. More modern updates on the back. I put Details West spare knuckles on the back. We did the dark brown on the holsters, and then the knuckles got a rusty paint color. Now, some of you that know these are a single piece. They are kind of a bitch to paint separately like that. But if you have a good brush and a steady hand, you can do it pretty easily. Let's see. Once again, I had to add the brake pipe hose. It did come with the MU hoses, but it did not have the brake pipe hose, which I added. Rear ditch lights. Once again, we have shiny lenses, and then the MU receptacle on the back. And that's really about it for the outside. I mean, I didn't, you know, I just wanted to add a few modern details, some more filter details on there. I didn't get too crazy with all the lines and stuff like that. It's got the normal RTR parts that they added on there. I didn't go too crazy with adding every single airline and all that stuff. I just wanted something that was a really nice representation of a locomotive that used to be, and and have it in a modern day capacity. Something that I can run on the main, something that's going to look nice and sitting in the museum, moving equipment around the museum. This will be mainly dedicated for the museum equipment, but like I said, I will have times where we take it out on the main with passenger cars or run it with some other stuff, especially now that I installed DCC and sound. This is, oh Lord, oh, hold on. I can't remember the name of the shit that I put in there. It's got the same sound as these have. These are ready. These are from the Ready to Roll. The economy sound. So it's got basically the guts that are in those locomotives are in this locomotive, and I did have to change a couple things on the frame because the weights, if some of you know how these are when they're apart, there's weights that kind of screw to the tops of some of the parts of the frames. Some of that had to be changed around a little bit. I had to use different parts for that, but literally same sound decoder, same speakers, so it's a nice representation. I'll see if I can get some power to it here. Ooh, there we go. Alright, so yeah, she has that great startup. Hopefully you guys heard that okay. Like I said, just normal working headlights. I might eventually drill these out and put lights in, but like I said, it's a real pain in the ass sometimes. I've done it on other stuff, so see if I can, there we go. Yeah, you guys can hear she has that real nice sound. Prototypical for what the locomotive is. Like I said, I used stuff that Athearn supplies, so I didn't use anything off-brand or cheap. But yeah, it's a really nice piece. Just a simple couple modern-day updates to it. Tried to keep it somewhat clean, not too grimy and dirty. You know, I want it to be a museum locomotive, so somewhat clean, a little dirty up top. Turn that off. But yeah, guys, it's just a really nice piece that I kind of updated. Really cool locomotive. Something I kind of had planned out for this was to kind of make it a modern day runner, add the necessary details to modernize it. But yeah, it was a fun, super easy project. I mean, it maybe a couple hours on just putting some of the details on painting probably took the longest. Painting these parts probably took the longest. Other than that, it was basically just slapping them on. The DCC swap kind of took me a little bit, just because, like I said, the frame wasn't really set up for that because it's not a DCC locomotive. So it is. So you guys can get a clear view on the part number. It is older. This was an eBay purchase quite a few years ago, so it was fairly new when I bought it off of eBay. I got it brand new on eBay, not used. Can't remember how much I paid for it at the time, but it was fairly cheap because it was just a ready-to-roll locomotive. But yeah, like just some little paint details, some little add-ons here and there, and it really became a really cool piece. You guys can see it's got the nice see-through radiator fans and the dynamic fans. All the stuff that normally comes on the little bit nicer RTR stuff. Even though this is kind of older, it's still really decent RTR. Runs real smooth. I've had it up to speed. Sounds great. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. It's really just that's one of my museum pieces that is running. So you guys will see this if you stick around long enough, and if you live long enough, and if I live long enough, you guys will see this on a on a layout doing work at a museum. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this little video. I'm going to try to keep these somewhat short. Some of them are going to be a little bit longer just because different locomotives and rolling stock and stuff like that. We're going to go through, like I said, we're going to go through the UP stuff first. I'm going to show you all my UP stuff, and then we can go to the BNSF stuff and throw in some oddballs here and there. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about any of the products that I use, paints, detail parts, feel free to ask in the comments. And yeah, until next time, take care.